So I'm doing my thought question one on corporal punishment. Um, what are your views on spanking children? My views on spanking children is that it's okay. I think it enforces structure and what is right and wrong. Makes the children have emotions connected to what they did. Um, the pros and cons of that. The pros are that the spanking teaches a lesson. You're teaching them that, whatever they did wrong has a consequence, and, not everything, um, or everything you bad you do, it'll come back to you or you get a punishment for it. A con would be that, like, other parents and, like, see it or they don't approve of it, or you're out and, you have to spank your child and people are watching and they might, like, think like the situation's getting out of hand, but it's also like your child, so I don't really know. Um, I guess they could just like stay out of their, or you know, be stay in their business and not like get into mine, I guess. Um, what type of spankings are appropriate and what type, if any, would be considered over the line? Appropriate would be, I mean, I've had like my pants down and like spanking with a wooden spoon. So I guess over the line would be like the point where you give that child like a bruise, like a really big bruise in their butt or stuff like that. I wouldn't think that like spanking them with the belt or like pulling their pants down and spanking them is bad. I mean, I had it done multiple times when I was a kid. It's nothing like too severe. At what age or ages is spanking appropriate? I would say any age. I got spanked until I was probably 15, maybe. I mean, probably like more like 14. I don't think I ever got like spanked like past that. It kind of like stopped and like because I had a phone and I had internet and I had stuff like that. So like other things were more important than like a spanking. So things that were like more important to me that got taken away instead of a spanking, which taught me like a bigger lesson, I guess. Um, what are your own experiences with spanking, and do you plan to spank your kids? Why or why not? My experience with spanking, I mean, it was actually funny because my mom would beat the living crap, and I don't mean this literally, but she would beat the living crap out of my butt and like my sister's butt. And then like my dad, he'd get like really like mad, but it would be like a light like tap on the butt, like he'd just barely touch it and then he'd be done. And it wasn't anything. My mom would go like full on force, like pull the pants down, spank it with a wooden spoon. My aunt, oh my god, my aunt actually, or aunt, whatever, she carried a wooden spoon in her purse. Anywhere she went, she had that spoon with her. I thought it was the craziest thing, and then my mom started to do it, and it was just crazy. Absolutely crazy. As far as spanking my own kids, um, I think I will. I definitely believe in punishment for, if they did something wrong, you need to either like sit them out of the activity or you need to, spank them. Spanking, I think, works best. Time out there and time out for like a minute and then you're tired of sitting there not doing anything. So, you just, they go back and do it again. So I think spanking definitely has like a more definite response in kids. I think it's, you have emotion connected to it, that once they know that like they did this and that's a consequence, like they know if they do it again that's what it is, so they connect it to and see if it's actually worth doing again. But yeah, I definitely think spanking is okay. Of course, like you shouldn't just spank your kids to spank them and if they didn't do anything wrong, but I think it's definitely a good way to teach them a lesson to do what's right and not wrong. Good way to raise your kids, I guess. Definitely, I don't know that I would say it worked really for me. I mean, maybe at like a younger age it did, But then like growing up, like taking my phone and stuff, it didn't really like do anything. So I guess spanking really did like pull more of effect than like taking my phone or stuff like that, because I went back and just like did it again. But yeah, those are my views on spanking children. So yeah, I think that's all that has to be said. Um, Another con, I guess, would be like if you know you do get like too aggressive, not just because like you're disappointed. I know like sometimes my mom would be just like so disappointed and so mad at the same time that she'd like spank really hard, but like my dad was more of like the aggressive like talking wise and didn't really do much when it came to the spanking. But I think that some parents like they might go a little too far and they might leave a bruise, and they're like, whoa, like I did not mean to do that, like that's not, I never want to do that again. So I guess it just like makes them second guess. Or maybe sometimes some parents are just too aggressive and they just don't care, so it could bring in like the aspect of like hurting the kid or like assault, or not assaulting, but abusing the child. So child services and stuff like that can get involved. But yeah, I think that's all that I have to say about spanking children.